Hello YouTube world, this is Jimmy and this is my first YouTube channel, so welcome. And the ultimate reasons I'm creating this channel is to transform ourselves physically and mentally for peak performance so that we can be of service to this planet. The fact is that right now, if we want to make a difference in this world, if we want to make a difference in our families, and a difference in our communities, a difference in our work environment, in our youth, we have to do as Gandhi said, be the change we want to see. Now, with that said, I would like to share some of the key takeaways and some gold nuggets that I got from this. This is called The Rise, as you can see, The Rise of Superman, subtitle, Decoding the Science of Ultimate Human Performance. This book was written by Steven Kotler. It was heavily influenced by this Hungarian psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who wrote the book Flow back in 1990. And both of these books focus on the psychology of peak performance. But the difference is that this book uses extreme adventurous athletes such as surfers that are surfing 60 to 70 foot waves, using mountain climbers that are climbing Mount Everest, using snowboarders and skiers that are doing some crazy, insane stuff in the snow. And the reason Steven Kotler uses these extreme adventurous athletes is because these athletes have pushed the envelope so fast and so far. It's unbelievable compared to any other profession, compared to any other field. These athletes have pushed the envelope so far the fastest. So that just brings up the question, what are they doing? What kind of mental state are they getting in? And that's what Steven Kotler focuses on this book. Okay, so what is flow? Flow is what athletes refer to getting in the zone, is what jazz musicians refer to being in that pocket, or what runners refer to as the runner's high. It's when you just become oneness with whatever you're doing. You just lose sense of self, you lose sense of time, you lose sense of space. And you get into this highly intense, focused, creative state. So that is getting in the zone. That is flow. So what are the key takeaways? One of the reasons I love this book is because he challenged what it takes to achieve mastery. So some of these dominant theories and dogma was that you need 10,000 hours to achieve mastery. In this book, Steven states that most of these athletes did not have anywhere near close 10,000 hours. Yes, they put in their time. Yes, they put in the work, but did not have nearly as many hours and were just like killing it in their sport. The second dominant theory was that you needed to be groomed in a certain environment. You needed to be, to belong as a child or as a kid or as a teenager in a certain academy, in a certain structured program, that you were groomed, and your parents paved the way and they made it a lot easier. They gave you a head start. That's debunked. Some of these athletes got a very late start into their like early 20s or late 20s. So that debunked that theory. The last theory was the marshmallow theory. The marshmallow theory was a famous study done by a psychologist back in 1970, which was pretty much on delayed gratification and impulse control. And these athletes are some of the most impulsive people on the planet. And one of the reasons is that they quote unquote did not receive delayed gratification, is because they were getting that instant gratification by being in flow constantly. So they did not have to quote unquote wait for gratification. Once they got into their practice, they start getting into flow. Yes, these theories have their place, and yes, it's not the only way. Of course these are important, but it's not the only way. So let me share some of the golden nuggets about what practices you can do in order to get into flow. Okay, so number one is having that highly focused attention on one thing. Focus on one thing. Whatever skill, whatever you're trying to master, whatever craft, just focus on that. If you're going to do it for half an hour, just do that one thing for half an hour. If you're going to do it for 2 hours, do that one thing for 2 hours. The second one is the 4%. The 4% means that every time you embark in your skill or your craft, to implement 4%, to do 4% more, or do 4% of the challenge, because you don't want to have the challenge so high that it overwhelms you, and you don't want the challenge to be so low that it bores you. So you want to have that skill and challenge ratio, implementing just 4%. And like that 4% day in, day out has that compound effect. The third one is letting go of that struggle. You're going to go through some struggles. We're going to go through some challenges. We're going to go through some humps. And the fact is that we have to let it go. We let it go as soon as we are done practicing. Let it go. Don't think about it. Get it out of your head. Don't think about it until you start practicing again. The last one is having very clear goals. Having very clear goals on what it is. Why are you trying to sharpen this skill? Trying to see how you're going to feel, how you're going to behave once you achieve that goal. And having very clear, solid goals helps with getting into flow. So there are some more takeaways. There are some more golden nuggets. I highly recommend this book. The reason I'm sharing this book is because right now we are living in a world bombarded by distraction, and if we're distracted so often, it's impossible really to focus and excel on something or certain skills. Whether you want to write, you want to do poetry, whether you want to be a musician, definitely is something that this book will help you with. And the last thing I would like to share about this is the neuroscience of it. He used one of the leading neuroscience experts in the world. His name is Dr. Leslie Sherlin, and he states from a neuroscience perspective, him doing EEG and seeing these athletes' brain waves, he states when you get into flow, the prefrontal cortex shuts off, or inner critic shuts off, or inner dialogue shuts off. It's completely silent. The reason this is so important is every time we have a creative insight and share with the world, we come up against some very primal fears. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of social ridicule, fear of loss of resources like time, money, etc. So just bear in mind that we all have this fear when we're entering into a new creative endeavor, a new skill. We all have it. It's wired in every one of us. And with that said, I would like to leave you with a couple of questions. When was the last time you tried something new for the first time? And how can it be of service to this planet? Hopefully, I inspired some inspiration. Until next time, this is Jimmy from Peak Performance Mindset. Ciao.